Hello, everyone. We might as well begin now. Good evening, good day, depending on your time zone. My name is Francis. I am co-founder of Open Source Nest, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to our day 4. Oh yes, so we've had a day 1, we've had day 2, and we had a combo yesterday. We're at day 3. Today we are going to be having Mr. Peter Benjamin here with us to help us understand pull request and collaboration. Yes. So if you missed out on day 1 and day 2, the videos are already out. Day 3 would be out today actually. And we are live already for day 4. So please, if your video is turned on, okay, apart from Mr. Peter, if your video is turned on, just turn it off for bandwidth reasons. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments, or if you think it's like very urgent, then feel free to raise your hand. Okay, and I would interrupt the speaker. Also here in the house, I have she's still here. Okay, she stepped out. All right then, shall ignore. Mr. Peter, the session is over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Boss Kikes. So, good day, everyone. My name is Peter, and I'm an open source engineer or developer. You can use any of those words. And just as the day 2 speaker said, I'm a human being, and it's lovely to be here with everyone. It's lovely to be in this session. And before I actually get started with all this whole, what I call it, jargons at the moment, I'd like to actually ask a question firstly. And the question is, what is Git? Don't know if anyone can help me to answer that. What is Git? Anyone?
Hello.
So please come again. I didn't get you.
Okay, what is Git? Like, define Git.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Let me give it a try.
Okay, sure, I can hear you.
Git is an open, it's a version control system that is distributed where collaborators can come together to actually build something. Shit.
You're not wrong, you're not wrong. Just what you understand by Git. We are not in a class that your professor needs to grade you any of that. What you understand by Git, it's fine. Okay, can anyone else give us another try? What do you really understand by that word Git? Git. What does it mean? Any other person? Okay. I think is someone raising up their hand? Is someone raising up their hand? Any other person? So we can get started. What do you understand by that word Git? When you hear the word Git, what do you really understand by it? Okay, yeah, Sammy, you can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Let me
Okay.
use the definition the other guys use. To me, give is a data control system. It basically, you can use it to interact with any of these uh platforms like GitHub that you can use to collaborate with developers. Um, basically work on.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's clap for him. Thank you for that. So before the end of the session, I actually have a prize for someone or two people basically that would actually pay attention very well. There'll be a little token to appreciate you. So without much to say, let's get started on today. So today we are going to be talking about collaboration and pull requests. Collaboration and what? Pull requests. These two keywords, if I can use that, are very strong because everything that is built today, is somewhere you can raise your hand down because everything that is built today comes out from just these two words, collaboration and then pull requests, basically. From the likes of GitHub to the likes of Google to the likes of Spotify, every system that exists today is actually based off collaboration and pull requests. Lots and lots of collaboration and pull requests. But then, what do they really mean when you hear the word collaboration and pull requests? What does it really mean? In a nutshell, collaboration means two or more people collaborating on something or two or more people working together, basically. And then pull requests, we'll get to understand what that means moving forward. So today, we would actually be working with some specific agenda because whenever we come together, people come together, we need to have an agenda so that by the end of the session, they can, be able to say, yes, this is what I've been able to achieve. So I'm going to share my slide with everyone else so that you can also follow on. Okay, I'm going to share it in the chat. So you can also follow on, with me as we go forward if you want to. So today we're going to, achieve three main things. First is collaboration. Under collaboration, we're going to be understanding what is forks and branches. We're going to also learn how to clone repository. We are going to make some pull requests. And then the second thing we're going to achieve today is what? Code review. We're going to learn how to review codes, leaving comments and merging PRs. PRs basically means pull requests. Then we are going to do a little hands-on practical. We are going to fork a repo. Then we are going to make changes and we're going to submit a PR. Okay. These are the three main things we are going to achieve by the end of today. And I would really want and appreciate everyone to actually pay attention. Ask questions if you are confused at any point. Like if at any point you're confused at anything, just raise up your hand. You can drop them in the comment section, then or in the WhatsApp group and draw my attention to it. And hopefully we'll be able to attend to each and every question before the end of this session. So, okay. With that being said, we have key objectives for today, which includes learning about, as I said before, forks, branches, and basically repositories and how to actually interact with them. And we're going to make today very much practical. So it's not just going to be theory. We are going to make it very much practical. And I would like everyone to actually follow along because you will tend to understand why these things are really important because when you're interacting with repository, like when you're interacting with repositories, this repository contains systems being built for different purposes. For example, you're interacting with a repository for a Python package, and that particular repository, maybe it's a Django package, or maybe it's Django, for example, which is a Python framework used for building web apps, and you want to contribute to it. If you don't understand all these key basic things, it will be hard for you to actually know how to, contribute to all this.
Can I now lie down?
Okay. Can you mute? I think someone is. Oh my God.
Still muted.
All right. Thank you. So, and then our goal is to basically what? Master pull requests and review code effectively and also make changes confidently. And with that, we also have the scope of our project today, which includes basically forks and branches, cloning repositories, submitting PRs, and reviewing and merging PR. Okay, this is the major things we are going to look at firstly before actually moving forward with it. So firstly, I would like to give out definitions or make us understand what all these key scopes are. Firstly, when you hear about the word a fork, which is FORK. A fork basically means a complete copy of an entire repository. A complete copy of an entire repository. And the repository, which I believe the instructors of the other days have made you understand what a repository is. But if you don't also understand, you can ask in the group. I think the WhatsApp group is active for that. And then secondly, branches. So branches is just what? Pointers within the same repository. By pointers, you get to understand what I mean later on. Maybe you want to implement a new feature in a software, or you want to implement a new feature in a system. A branch is basically a pointer to the same master, but then you're implementing a feature under it. So you're creating a copy of that, then implementing your feature on it. Okay. Then secondly, clone. So clone are just what? You downloaded the whole repository onto your local machine. So bringing a whole remote repository onto your local machine is called a clone. Just basically, the word explains itself. When you hear the word clone of something, means a copy of something, but then it is on your local. And then pull requests is basically what? It's a formal way to propose changes to a code base. So the code base can be about anything. The code base can be a code base on a particular system, on a particular framework, on a particular feature. It can be anything in short. Then a pull request is basically what? You proposing changes to it. That's what a pull request is. And then code review means reviewing code, of which we all know. And there are many reasons to actually review a code. So moving forward, we'll also look at collaborating from when you fork a repo. And when I mean by forking a repo means a copy of a repo. Okay. Then after cloning the repo, we are going to get it to our local machine. And also we are going to be submitting PLs. We are also going to be merging changes. So there is, okay. All right. So when you talk about collaboration, there are just two key things in question, which is what? Branches and forks, and then code collaboration. These are the two major things in question when you actually hear the word collaboration. Can this repo be made public? Let me send this. Okay. So now we are going to be looking at a bit of visual overviews of all these things we've been mentioning. And we are going to be looking at what they are, how to actually create a copy of it, and what all these things we've been saying are, basically. So let me share my screen to another repo and search okay. Can we all see the GitHub I'm sharing? If you can see, you can drop a thumbs up. All right. Okay. So let's open to a public repo, a very popular public repo, of which I believe most people coming from the Python background should know. But then this is just for practical basis. It's not. Okay. So here we are basically in a repo, and we want to contribute to it. Remember, today's session is about collaboration and pull requests. For you wanting to contribute to this, it might be because you've been using it, okay? It might be because you've been or you want to use it, or because you see someone using it and you feel like this can actually be added to this software to make it more interesting, more better. It can be because maybe you're using React.js or you're using Next.js or you're using Django, or you're using any framework at all or any library at all, and you feel like, okay, I want to be part of the collaborators that actually built this wonderful software. And you can see here we have more than 2,000 collaborators from different places, different parts of the world that have contributed to just this particular framework. and it is used by more than 2 million people. So being a contributor means you have to collaborate with other people. You have to look at code written by someone in Asia, code written by someone in Africa, code written by someone in America. Okay, collaborating means you have to basically what bring out time to actually go through all this, but then you need to actually understand how to contribute effectively. So before contributing to any open source repository, or we still look at closed source repository, before contributing to any repository at all, this is a repository here. Before contributing to it, first thing first you need to check is if they have a contributing guideline. Some usually lay it out that, okay, this is our how to contribute. You can see it here for the Django one. You have to check it out first. Also, their code of conduct to understand how to actually write code that they will accept. Because if you make a pull request, of which I'll show you in few time now, if you make a pull request that doesn't go in sync with what is needed, it won't be accepted. So you need to check out the contributing guidelines, the documentation dropped for those wanting to contribute. Also need to look at their code of conduct and also understand a bit about what you want to contribute to. But with that being said, for you to contribute, the first thing you need to do is what? Create a fork of it. I hope we all can see here. You can see FORK. So, and as I hover over it, you can see it's telling me to what? Fork a copy of Django in my own personal repo. So by clicking on the link, or by clicking on this particular word now, it will create a copy of Django in my own personal repository. So it's going to create a copy of Django in, let's say, okay, I have already existing in my own personal repository. It's going to create a copy of it in my own personal repository, and it's going to create it from a branch, okay? Let's say, for example, I want to contribute to the main branch, which is the branch that is going into production, and which is the branch that is stable. So it's going to create it from, I think someone is, can you mute? All right, thank you. So it's going to create it from a copy of that main branch. All right, thank you. So I'm going to create this from a copy of that main branch, okay? And then once I have a copy of that main branch, I can actually modify it. I can utilize it to, maybe I want to add more changes to it. I want to privatize it. You can see every software release have what? A license attached to it. And the license says that, okay, this software can be used. You can see license here. And license says that, okay, this software can be used for different purposes, or this software is limited for this, or this software cannot be modified at all, okay? So now this software is telling you, this license now, after going through it, you understand that, okay, this particular software can actually be privatized. That means you can add your own changes and make it private. You can call it maybe Django or anything else with your own special code to it, okay? So firstly, you create a fork of it. So let me send the link so that we all can also check it out. That's for those that want to interact as we go on. Okay. So by creating this, it creates a copy of it in my own personal repository. And once I have it in my own personal repository, I can then add changes to it. This is to explain what we talked about here on what? Forks. Okay. Now moving on to the second one, which is branches. Let's share the, okay. So you can see here we have what? 29 branches within the Django repository. These 29 branches include 29 different copies of Django within each other, which is containing similar code. It's not containing entirely different codes. This is similar code with different updates, different changes within it. So then we now have lots of branches. So all these branches, as I stated before, a branch is basically what? A copy of that particular repository. Or you can basically say it's still a pointer within that same repository. A branch has shared history. So each branch has shared history with the other branch because they're all within each other. Then we also have secondly, we then have Let me share here back and okay, then pull requests. So still using this same repo, for example, we'll look at pull requests. So as you can see here, let me check if I can zoom in. All right. I believe it's more clear. Okay. So as you can see here, we have pull requests. So pull requests are just what changes people are proposing to be added to what the Django. These are just changes people are proposing to be added to Django. And as you can see, we have 354 changes from different people, adding different things to Django. And we have here different that are opened. All these are different pull requests that are opened by different people to add different things to Django. Maybe someone discovered a bug while working on something and just said, oh, I think this would be necessary. Let me propose a change to it. And they do. And it gets added to it. That's also part of it. You understand? So these are what different changes proposed by people to Django. And they are known as what pull requests. Then we also mentioned about merging changes. Okay. And I said once your changes that you propose here are what, once they have been gone through, once they have been reviewed thoroughly, and they say that okay, this person is what, this person is proposing something that is meaningful, or this person has worked on something that is amazing, or this person's proposal is wonderful, let's bring it on. It gets merged, and once it gets merged, the pull request automatically what closes. So we can look at filter the pull requests by the ones that are closed. This okay, you can see this is a pull request which was made 2 hours ago, so it's still recent. Let's go through it. All right, so you can see this is a pull request which was made 2 hours ago. It was created by this guy, and within the pull request, you can always see what conversation. Firstly, a pull request to have what a title, as you can see, and a description. This title and description is written in most contributing guideline, and your title must state, okay, you are trying to resolve this particular issue if there's an issue, but currently there's no issue within this repo. I also give an example. I will try and show another repo that has an issue so you can see what an issue is. But as I'm saying, we always expect to see a title first and a description. So this title will talk about, okay, this is what I worked on, like saying implemented social authentication. That's just the title. Then in the description, this is now where you go in broader, be like, okay, have a checklist, have a description of what you actually did, and then be like, this is what I did, this is what it does. Okay, I was able to implement social authentication for Facebook, for Twitter, for Instagram, and okay, this is what I couldn't do. Okay, then this is basically it. And within a pull request, you will see conversations. Okay, these are then review changes. Within a pull request, you see comments. They're known as comments, but you can also call them conversations. So within these comments is the repository maintainers, the person in charge of actually merging your code, is going through your changes here. You can see within a pull request, you can see the amount of commits that has been made, and you can also see file changes. So the repository maintainer comes here, click on here, the file changes. So actually find out which or what did you really do. Okay. Now clicking it, they can see that okay, this person modified base.py, which is the first file they modified here. And then secondly, they modified test partials.py. Okay. So the person can go through it. Okay, this is what was added, imported OS, imported Django, and did all this. Still the same for secondly for this file. You can see this was how it was when he met it. This was how it was after he met it. So these are the two changes he's proposing to the Django, basically. So, and then after reviewing it, can be like, oh, why is this in here? Why did you import this? You can come over to the conversation section and ask, why did you import this? And the person explains, okay, this is why I imported this, it does this, it does that. So this is helping you to what? collaborate. Remember, today is about collaboration and pull request. You are seeing that pull request is an amazing way to actually what collaborate, because when you make a pull request, you're proposing changes to something that is of interest to you, or something you are actually working on, or maybe you are in a company and you're working on a project, and you assigned a feature. Okay, you're proposing the changes to the already existing system, that okay, you want this to be done, and this is what you've done. So that is how pull request basically works. Then secondly, or moving on, we can actually visualize collaboration in just three concepts. Firstly, we can use this to illustrate the relationship between the forks, branches, and pull requests. So as we said, a fork is a what? A copy of a repository. Just basically a copy of a repository. Maybe you go to your repo and you copy React.js into your own GitHub account or into your own GitLab account, depending on the version control you're using. Okay. A fork basically is a copy of an independent development experiment, basically. And then a branch is what? Shared purpose in what? Collaborative software development. What this basically means is, as we saw earlier on in the Django repository, we could see different branches. We could see stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 9. We could see main branch. I think there's maybe dev branch and so on. These are what they all have shared purposes, in collaborative building. Like they all have shared purposes in the building of the Django itself. And then pull requests is what just temporary workspace for you making your changes. Okay. So for example, you worked on this in a particular branch in your own fork, which is your own repo, your own copy of the repo, which is your own fork, basically. And then you made a pull request, and then you're proposing these changes. It is going to be in a temporary workspace. Okay, it's going to be in a temporary workspace. And then once it has been accepted, once it has been reviewed, and it's seen that, okay, what this guy actually did is meaningful, it gets joined, and then it solves the issue, basically. And every pull request has a life cycle. The first one is the creation of the pull request. And the creation starts from when you identified the problem. Okay. When you identify that I want to actually add this, I was using this and I noticed this error and I want to solve it. After the creation, you would make your pull request known. Once it's done, you go through the review stage. So this review stage at times takes longer. It might not be 33%. Depends. If it's something you are not really sure of what you did, review stage can take up to 70% of the whole time spent on that code or spent on that project. Once it has been reviewed, the resolution, it gets merged and it resolves that particular problem in question. All right, so we are going to be looking at this in practice, and but before we actually get started with this, I would like to actually ask if anyone is confused. If there's a question, remember there's 2 prizes for 2 lucky people that actually does well on this session. So, and it's going to be in crypto form. So if you have question or if you are confused anywhere, please can you ask your question now? Any question, anything you didn't understand during the class, you can ask now, or something you want to be us to look into, you can ask now. Don't be shy. We are all learning, basically.
Sir, hello. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Sir, please, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
My question is a situation whereby your pull request was not accepted.
Okay.
What happens then?
All right. That's our first question first. Let's note it down by Eke-san. Then I think another person have another question. I think OG or maybe it was a mistake. Okay. So in a situation where your pull request was not accepted, first of all, it depends on, no, I said a pull request is you are proposing a change to a repository. Okay. For example, you're proposing to add green color to the React logo. And React looks at it and be like, no, 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 what's this guy doing? They will reject it, of course, because it doesn't really make sense. Okay. So if your pull request doesn't really solve any problem, or your pull request is causing more problem, or your pull request is having, there's something called merge conflicts, of which we'll get into, or your pull request is causing what is called merge conflicts, it will definitely be rejected. And if it is rejected, it will just be there. Okay. Or I don't know if that answers your question, or if you want to need to elaborate more.
Yes, it does. The thing now is, will the thing still be there at that pull request interface, or will the thing enter somewhere else that will show that okay, this thing has been rejected, just like the thing shows when the thing has been accepted?
Okay, it will still be there if, let's say, you are still working on it. For example, you propose a change to a repo, you open the pull request, and after the code maintainers reviewed it, they're like, okay, this looks sense, but it's causing a merge conflict, and they want you to solve it. You want you to resolve that merge conflict. Your pull request will just be there. Then any change you are making in, or you're pushing the changes is automatically going under that pull request. Let me show you an example. Okay, still using this, you could see this person now didn't really have any much issues. So that's why you're seeing one commit. And commit basically means this is just, he made all these changes at once and then pushed it forward. That's why I see one commit. But then if, for example, someone made a pull request and the pull request has a merge conflict. By merge conflict, it means there's a conflict between codes, or there's a conflict between files within each other. The maintainers will want you to actually work on it more. They won't close it. Basically, your pull request will still be there. But the person that has access to actually close a pull request is either you or the maintainers. So looking at the close pull requests here, you could see this was closed yesterday by this person, and so on. So probably after looking at this, person is like, oh, I've made lots of mistakes in here. It's best I just close this pull request and open a new pull request. It's possible. You can open as multiple pull requests as you want, and you can close it by yourself or the maintainers. But most of the times, the maintainers will prefer you to be the one to actually close your pull request, so they will not even do anything about it. I don't know if that answers your question. All right. Okay. Peace, you have a question.
Good evening, sir. Please, I wanted to ask, you made mention of the fact that every like pull request has like a life cycle. So when you said life cycle, what came to my mind was, is there actually, like, my question is there actually a possibility of whereby, let's take for instance now, your full request is actually accepted, yes, which closes the full request, but is there also a situation whereby, because you're making use of somebody else's repository, like you're copying it directly to your own, so in a case whereby, let's say they accept that your full request, and because you made mention of life cycle, is there a case whereby when they accept that person's pull request and they find out that like the thing is not like actually effective on whatever the thing is, what they are building on, is there a possibility for them to actually like remove that person's pull request from what they are working with already, like if they see that it's not effective? And it also links to this conflict stuff you talked about, but I don't know if that makes sense, my question.
Okay, I don't fully actually understand the question. Oh, okay, if I'm understanding what you mean, you're saying if, for example, you made a PR, a pull request, and it was accepted, which means it was merged, basically. And if it is merged, means it didn't have a conflict. If your pull request has a conflict, it will merge. Okay. So always know that if your pull request has a conflict, it won't merge. That's just it. So it was merged, which means it didn't have a conflict. Then later on, they discovered maybe there's an issue in your pull request and they want to actually revert it back. They can basically do that. But then most times when you actually merge a pull request, you're merging this person's history to histories of everybody. So on every repo out there, on every most open source repo out there, they don't just merge pull requests because you made a pull request. It is always critically reviewed. I mentioned it is always critically reviewed. Now, to add to that, if you go through, maybe after this session, try and find out time, go through your, I'm sure most of us use React here. I'm sure most of us use most JavaScript packages out there. Go through all these packages and go through the pull request section. Let's say, for example, here now, okay, here. This was opened 5 days ago. Let's check this out. So when you are going through a pull request, for example, this person proposed this change to be done, and this is her checklist or his checklist. You can see the first comment, people start asking questions, trying to get out what did you really do after reviewing all the changes she did here. So you can see the person changed 4 files, and all these 4 files was changed at once, which means the person changed it with 1 commit, which means just one time all the 4 files was changed. So all this led to what? It led to different questions from different people asking them, okay, what's this, what's that, what's this, what's that, you get, and so on. Then eventually they found out, okay, resolve this. You can see now he was asked to resolve this issue. They were asked to resolve this. They were asked to resolve that. You get, so pull requests are not, merged without actually discovering what you really done. I mean, what you really did. They don't just merge it because you made a pull request. It is critically what reviewed. It's part of collaboration. Okay, it's part of collaboration. When you are collaborating on something, you'll be asked, okay, why did you do this? Okay, be like, oh, this is what it does. Most times the person will be like, oh yeah, it's true, this is what it does, or your code is understood, then it is merged. But on most occasions, you will surely get a review before your code will get merged. Okay. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Chinedu asked something in the comments. You can also drop your questions in the comments too. He said, please, I tried cloning a repo to my work, but it still tells me a repo exists already. But I checked my file, but I can't still find the repo or the Git. Okay, so why he's telling you that a repo exists already is because you already have a Git repository within. Okay, so use this command. I don't know the computer you are on, but if it is on a Linux-based computer, type ls, then space, type -la. I sent it to the comments. Okay, Windows. Not really Windows boy, so I don't really know much Windows command. But then, you can ask any AI the alternative for ls-la on Windows. Okay, ask AI to give you that of Windows and just enter it in your PowerShell. After entering it, it will tell you basically every repo that is, every folder that is hidden. Remember, a Git repository is a folder. Okay, it's a folder, but it is hidden because it is .bits. I know your system automatically hides files that start with dots. I mean, hides folders that start with a dot. Okay, and Git starts with a dot, so it automatically hide it, consider it unneeded, basically, or you don't need to see it, basically. But then with this command, you can be able to see files that are hidden within that particular directory you are in. Okay, so type it, then you'll be able to see that a Git repository already exists. That's why it is telling you that issue. Most times you might not know, you might just type Git init. You might type Git init without knowing that you have already initialized a Git repository already. You get, and that Git repository already has a remote call to it. And when you're trying to bring up another repository to it, it's going to probably run into an issue. Not probably, it's going to definitely run into an issue and tell you that a repository already exists. I don't know if that answers your question. Then to remove it, you can just type this, find the Windows alternative of this, and then type it in the PowerShell. It will remove the Git repository that you already have. Then you can actually clone another repository to it. Does anyone have any other question on? Sorry, does that answer your question, Chinedu? All right, sorry, thank you. So, does anyone have any other question? Any other question before we move into much of a practical session? Any question? All right. If you're with your computer, if you're joining us with your computer or your laptop or your desktop or whatever, can I get a thumbs up if you're with your computer? Or even if you're on your mobile, I think the day 2 instructor, talked about how to actually utilize Git on your mobile. So if you're with your computer, can I see a thumbs up? All right. So we're going to do something a bit practical today. And that is, we are going to experiment all these things we've talked about so that you have the knowledge of it. Okay. Firstly, I'm going to show it on a publicly available repo. Then I'm also going to show you how to actually do it on, how to do it on a very popular repo we all know, which is maybe, I think everybody knows React.js here. So I think it's quite popular. So we'll just try it on React.js. But first, we are going to do it on our own repo. So I want everyone to go to this repository. Let me send it. I think I sent it before, but let me send it again. Okay, don't know why it's not loading in on my own. Okay, so everyone, I sent a link to the repo, to the comment section. We can go here. If you are here, let me know. If you're on your computer, you can basically come here if you're on a computer. But if you're not on your computer, you can also just watch. Okay. All right. So now we are going to create a folder in our computer. So let me share my whole screen so we can do this. Okay. Okay, come, let me share my whole screen. If you can see my whole screen, can you give a thumbs up? All right, thank you. So let's create a repo here. We're going to call this Collabo. I think we all know the meaning of Collabo. So I'm going to call this Collabo, then open up your favorite code editor. It could be VS Code. It could be anything entirely. Open up your favorite code editor. Then drag and drop. If you're on a Linux base, just drag and drop it. Drag the particular folder and drop it. So let me make this longer. All right. Then open up your terminal. So your terminal is just basically a user interface that you can also use to communicate. The same way you're using your mouse to interact with your computer. Your terminal is also a user interface. But it is more of it's known as a command line interface. Okay. or its user interface in a nutshell. So with this now, let's come back to our repository here. And let's copy, come back to our terminal. To clone a Git repository, all you just need to type is what? Git clone, then the repository. But then there are fancy ways to actually still clone a Git repository. Let me come here. Let me share that particular screen so that it won't distract people. All right, perfect. So there are fancy ways of actually cloning a repository. If you want to clone a repository inside of this particular file we've already created, you type git clone, then the repo link. So git clone, then the repo link. It will clone that particular repo inside of this particular folder. Okay. But then if you want to clone a repo, it will clone it inside of the folder and save it by the repo name. So after cloning it, it will save it by the repo name. But then if you want to clone that particular repo inside of this folder without actually making it an extra folder, you type git clone, the repo link or repo URI as universal resource locator, basically link in a nutshell. Then put dots. Hope you can see the dots. So this clones it inside this particular folder without creating an extra folder. Okay. But then if you want to create it, clone it in another repo, in another folder, let's say a specific folder you created for it, you do git clone, then the repo URI, then that folder, let's say my folder, to clone it inside of a folder called my folder. But then we just want to what? Clone it inside here. So let me delete this. I don't need that. All right. So git clone, then our repo link, click enter. Have everyone done that? If you've done it, can I see a thumbs up? If you clone your repo, can I see a thumbs up? Have everyone done that? I'm still waiting on or if you run into an issue cloning your repo, you can also ask your question. If you run into an issue cloning your repo. All right, so this one person have done that. Means we are good. All right, so secondly, we want to make changes. So if you look at this particular repo we have here, let's come here to our repo. Where's our fine repo? Okay. Oh, I'll have to still share this screen. But then if you look at that repo we created earlier on, or that was created for us 3 hours ago, you will notice that the repo only has a README file. And the README file is empty, it's boring, basically, in a nutshell. But then we want to actually propose changes. We want to build a website. For example, we want to build a website and we want to build maybe a boilerplate of a website inside here. Okay. How can we do that? Let's come here back into our repo and then propose our changes. But first of all, we want to create a branch. Remember, I told you that what a branch is just basically what a pointer within the same what repository that shares history. So first of all, I want to create a branch. You create a branch using the command git checkout -b. Okay. Then your branch can either be fixing a problem. If your branch is fixing a problem, you use the word fix, then slash the problem is fixing. If your branch is a feature fetch slash what it's doing, or you can just type it feature, then what it does, add something. You can type it anyhow, but make sure that your branch has is named in such a way that whenever it is being referenced, it will relate to what you're doing. Don't just come here and make a branch. Let's say make a branch, collabo in Git or anything. No, that doesn't really make sense, or that doesn't really relate to what you're doing. Make sure your branch name always relate to the problem you're solving. Okay, this is like a standard. It's not that it won't work. It would work. You can name your branch anything. You can name it XYZ. It will work. It will work. Okay, but then it's more of what a standard to actually put yourself out there that okay, proposing this change and this is what my change does. Consider your branch name as a title of the problem you're actually solving. Okay. So my branch name, we are going to call it, is a feature, and it's going to be implementing Django. Oh, sorry, I need to actually move into that repo we cloned. Okay. All right. So you can see now Git gives you, let me check if I can zoom in here. I don't think I can zoom in. How can I zoom in so that others can see this? I don't think I can zoom in. But then
Close.
okay. But then you will notice what it's saying, that what we have switched to a new branch, and this is our branch. Okay. So now we've created a branch. Remember from my introduction, we said what a branch is what? It's just what? A pointer to what? A repository we are in with what? Shared history. So a branch is just pointing to this particular, we have here our main branch. Then our branch we created, which is implementing Django, blah, 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 is pointing to this main branch because it has a shared history with it. So moving forward, we then want to actually implement our changes. Now, if you write git status, you can see we are currently on this branch and nothing to commit, everything is clean. So we can come here and add some title. Let's call this hands-on workshop before. This will be our title. Then let's write a description. Okay, this is our practical session during the hands-on session on Git. Join us to contribute. Thanks. So we have our good-looking description basically in our README, but then we want to actually add Django to this. Firstly, let's commit our change. First of all, we do git add. I believe this was already done before. I mean, it was taught before, but if you don't understand, feel free to ask your question. We are all learning here, okay? I'm also learning, we are all learning. So git commit basically is a message that we are, okay? Yeah, you have a question. Letitia. Letitia.
Yes. My question is, after the cloning the repo, you create and switch a new branch and switch to a new branch.
Yeah.
All right, I was just confirming. Thank you.
All right. I switched to a new branch because I want to contribute to this repo. So I'm coming in as I'm not the one that owns the repo, okay? I'm not the owner of the repo. I just saw this wonderful repo sitting out there on GitHub, and I want to contribute. I want to be part of the people that actually built this wonderful software. Let's say, for example, this repo now is the next React.js, or this repo now is the next AI framework that will be built, that will be used by millions of people in the world. And I want to be part of the contributor. And I saw it and I was like, oh, this is nice. Let me contribute to it. So you clone it first of all. But basically, if you are contributing to something like that, you first of all create a fork of it, which means a copy of it in your own GitHub. We'll get to that later, but we are doing this as part of contributing to, let's say you are working in a company that you have access to their repository, okay? This is how you work. Let's say you are in a company as an engineer, and you are trying to work on a feature together. It is more of this standard. But then when it is a whole new different scenario, we'll get to that later. So we've cloned our repo. and we've switched to a new branch. And now we want to actually, we've added a few changes here. I want to actually push our changes. So I can name this updated my description. And then in pushing it, we do what? Git push origin. What is the name of our origin? All right. So you can see now we've pushed our changes automatically to Git. And when you go to GitHub, you can see Git is telling you, do you want to compare and open a pull request? Let me share GitHub so we can see how it is. Sorry, I've been sharing screen up on screen. All right. So this is our GitHub. You can see because of these changes we just made now, GitHub automatically detects the change made by Git. And it's telling us we made this change. Do we want to, look into it? And do we want to compare changes? But then let's click on it first of all and compare changes. Now it's telling us, do you want to open pull request? So if you open a pull request now, we can be able to check what we did, why this particular branch is different from the main branch by opening a pull request. Remember, each pull request has what? A title and a description. Okay, so this is my title. I can say updated the readme. And what else can we write here? Nothing. We can leave this empty. So click on create pull request. You can see now my pull request is automatically opened. But then I want to close this pull request now and show you guys something new. Not something new actually. You can see now I've closed my pull request. It has changed to red. Okay. And I can delete my branch from here. Once I delete it, this branch automatically goes. Okay, because it is not what merged. But then I want to still create the pull request. I want to still merge those changes. Okay, I don't just want to leave it standing out there. So I can come back here to the pull request screen. But let's wait for this to load. Okay, I'll come back here to pull requests. Then I can also click on new pull requests. So I want to use this. And I want to create a pull request with it. So create pull request. Here now, we have two types of pull requests majorly. We have a draft pull request. Okay, you can note this down. This will actually help you out a lot, very much a lot. So you have a draft pull request. A draft pull request can never be merged. Okay, even if everything you've done is correct, it cannot be merged. The maintainer cannot merge it. Okay, it cannot be merged basically. And then we have a normal pull request. Just as the name sounds, drafts. Let's create a draft pull request now. It gives us the opportunity to be able to show what we've done code-wise, so that, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. But then I don't feel this thing is ready to be added to what everybody else is done or everybody else is doing. I don't feel this is ready to be merged. Okay, I don't this is ready to become one with the main branch. That's a draft pull request. After making a draft pull request, you can then review your changes. Once you are done, you can then switch it to a main pull request. Then it can be merged. So here now we can come here, updated the readme. So I just updated the readme, because I felt it's kind of boring. So be empty. Okay, and I create a draft pull request. All right. So you can see it is saying that this is not assigned to anyone. I can basically assign it to myself, but we don't need that. So after reviewing this, I can see that everything I'm doing is good, and you can see my 5 changes here. It's just one commit message I've made. Everything is looking all good, all neat. Okay, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is good. Let's merge it to the major. Let's make it a pull request so that it can be merged. Because as it is now, it can be merged. You can see now there's nothing like merge pull request down here. There's nothing like merge pull request down here. It is automatically what? Open. It can be meshed. But then after doing that, I'm like, okay, this is all good. Or let's say I add extra changes to the repo. Let's say, thanks for joining. Let me add extra changes to it. Okay, so I updated a line in the code. And now the commit messages should be increased to 2, though it's the same commit message. But then you can see now we have 2 commits and it's still one file that was changed. And now there's no conflict. Remember, no conflict between the other branch and this branch because there's no line that was affected in the code, basically. Now, so this is ready. So let's make it ready for review. So once you click ready for review, it automatically becomes a normal pull request. Okay. Then after reviewing it, I'm taking myself now as the person maintaining this code base. Let's say this guy made a change here. After reviewing it, I then say, okay, this is good. Let's merge it. I click on merge. And then I can also add some extended description before merging. Then merge it to this. You see, automatically it gets merged. And instead of me, do I want to delete this branch? But no, I don't want to delete the branch yet because we're still working on it. And then you can also revert the changes you made to this pull request by just clicking on this button. It will revert it back. Our main branch will still be brand new without anything. Okay. So going back to our main branch, you notice that the README has been updated. So I would want each and every one of you here to go to that repo, create a branch. Remember, git clone, create a branch is git checkouts -b, your branch name, and then push it. Once you push it, create what? Create a pull request, basically. But then after creating a pull request, your pull request should appear here so that you can be able to interact with it. But most times you might need to create a fork of it first before actually making a pull request. So, but then we'll get to that. Don't complicate yourself now. So here we have our first successful change. Let's go back and continue with our work. Any questions so far? Any confusing parts? Any parts you want to be elaborated more? This time for question. Any question? Anything that seems strange at all? Feel free to ask. We are all learning.
So yeah, you can drop your question, or you can drop it in the comments box if you are in a place where you can talk. And raise your hand, drop your questions. Hi guys, I'm back. Yeah.
Welcome back,
Or
Victoria.
if you are okay, thank you. If you are okay, then let the instructor continue. If not, please drop your question. We are begging you to drop your question now. It's better you ask him ask now. Don't be shy. But yeah, I think maybe you can continue.
All right, thank you. So please, anytime you are confused, just raise your hand up or drop a question in the comment section. I always check the comment section whenever I come back to the meet. So let's continue now. So I'm going to create I'm going to create a copy of a Django repository here. So these two commands I type is unrelated to what we're doing. So let me create a virtual environment. This is also unrelated, okay? So if you don't understand what this is about, don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to move into that virtual environment, also unrelated. Okay, so now I'm going to install Django, which is, remember when we looked at Django in the early session of this course? So I'm going to install Django, and Django is installing. Django has installed, basically. And then I'm going to do Django admin start projects. I'm going to call our project Collabo. Okay. All right. So you can see Django automatically created what? A bunch of Python files here, which does different things basically. Okay, different things. So let's move into Collabo. That's CD Collabo. Now we're currently inside the Collabo directory, and I want to run the Django server. That's Python. Also unrelated. Just want you to understand how this 3 manage.py run server. So you can see we've been able to add a change, we've been able to create a boilerplate for a website in Django. Let me open the website on a browser so that we can see how our website looks. All right, so this is what we've been able to build. Basically we've been able to just install Python. Sorry, we've been able to just install Django, which is a framework, into our repository. Remember, when we started, our repository was empty. It was just having a README file with nothing inside of it. But from there now, we've gotten to a stage of actually even creating a game. Sorry, not a game. We're able to create a Django installation in it. And as you can see, our installation works well. When we reload the site, you should also see some animations from Django, basically, telling you that installation works well. So now, after doing this, for example, I'm taking this as an instance that we are trying to build I'm taking this hands-on exercise as we are trying to build a website. Okay, we're trying to build a website, for example, and in building that website, we are adding different portions from this person, that person, the other person to be able to make it something amazing. Remember, Django was built by more than 2,600 people from different parts of the world to make it what it is today that I'm able to just install here. Is what more than 2,600 people built. Okay, so here now we've created a repo that wants to actually make it open source so that people can contribute. So I want you to contribute everything we learned today. I want you to contribute it on this repo. Okay, I want you to contribute it on this repo. Thank you. So we've installed this. The next step or the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be pushing our changes. So let me share my code editor again so we can then push our changes. Okay, so now let me just migrate. All right, so I'm going to git add, git commit. Then in my commit message, I can just say installed Django and made our repo awesome. Okay, so after the commit, you can see this is I created 12 files and made 198 insertions. And these are all the 12 files I created basically. Now I can just do git push our origin, but first of all, let me get that origin name because I only forget. Okay. I'm going to do git push origin. Now let's try something. Let's do git push without typing anything. You see, it automatically tells us that do we want to set this as our default origin, but no. Let's do git push main. Git push origin main. You can see it's telling us that what this cannot push into this. You cannot push into main because it is basically what unrelated. We get rejected for doing that. So we have to push into what our repository, which is we have to push into our branch, which is the branch that have related history what we are working on. So the git push origin and our branch. You can see the changes was accepted successfully by GitHub because it is related. Now, when we go back to our repository, let me come back to our repository here. Okay, let's refresh it. So after refreshing our repository, you should notice we have new changes here, basically. So I'll move into the other branch. This is the branch we've been working on. Feature, which is implementing Django. You can click on the contributes here. You can either compare or open pull request. But let's open a pull request. Then we don't need a description, and we don't also want to make it a draft pull request because you understand what a draft pull request is now. So we can just make it a normal pull request. Okay. So let's mark it ready for review. And then let's merge our pull requests. Confirm merge. Okay, you can see successfully we've merged our pull request. Now we can delete our branch if we are done with all the changes we want to do since it has been merged. Okay, but then we don't want to delete it. So when you come back here to our code, you notice that a lot has changed. We now have a folder added to it. I will now see we have far more interesting things that we're not seeing now. We have an increased writing on our README, and we have a folder. If you click on the folder is still going to show you the different files you have on it. You can see we have a database here. We have another folder again. We have a Python file. When we click on it again, you still see that we have another bunch of Python files and other stuffs. So you can see how we're able to, go from just a repo that was empty to a repo that is loaded with stuffs in it now. So if, for example, you want to contribute to this is how you then contribute. Because I have access to this repository, that's why I'm able to make a pull request, merge my pull request, do all those other things. But a repository that you don't have access to, you cannot merge it. Okay, it must be merged by the maintainer of that particular repository. Okay, so now let's assume, for example, I don't have access to this repository. The first thing you do is what? You create a fork of it. Remember, today is about collaborating and pull requests. You create a fork of it, clicking on the fork this thing. Then it's not going to tell you who do you want to make the owner of this particular repo. Who do you want to give access to the particular fork you're creating? And I can create it to either of the repositories I have access to, or just put it on my personal GitHub account, which is vortex-hill. Then description, but we don't need it. And we're creating a copy of the main. So by clicking on the create fork, I now automatically have a copy of it. Okay, let's wait for it to load. And I automatically have a copy of it in my own. Now, if you notice something now, we are now currently at vortex-hill / the same name. Is now totally what? It's no more coming from Open Source Nest, which is a different company. It's now under my personal repository. Okay, so now this is the first step you do when you're contributing to an open source repo that you don't have access to, and is not let's say a project you are working a project the company you are working for is working on, which is entirely different. You create a fork of it, which is the first thing you do. Then firstly, from the fork you created, you then clone it from the particular fork. You don't clone it from the where you clone it from. No, you clone it from your own personal, the one in your personal, the clone basically that you already fork, you clone it from there. So let's copy, and then let's come here. Let me share my whole screen again. All right, where is that? Okay, so we clone it Let's come here. So we can call this Collabo 2 version 2.0.1. Okay. So we are taking this as if totally brand new to this. I don't have access to that particular repo. First of all, you create a fork of it, then you open your terminal, and then you clone it in the particular fork you created. So I do git clone that particular repo. Okay, see now I've automatically what? Cloned it. Now let me cd into it. You can see everything in it. Everything in it, including these, that, and every other files inside of it. And then remember when I told you if you do ls-la, you would get to know every file that's in there. And you can see now we have what? A .git, which is tracking changes on this. So after I created a fork of it and cloned it, the next step I want to work on is what I want to implement a change. So I then create a git branch using the command git checkout -b. Then what I want to do here, I want to do feature updates documentation. That's basically what I want to do. And now automatically move into that branch so I can update my documentation. So now I'm not in the branch. If you do git status, so I can be sending you guys these commands so that you use it. Okay. There's no way I can actually zoom in this. Let me check if there's a way I can zoom in. I don't think there's a way I can zoom in. Yeah, someone said something.
Yes, command. Hold your command and your plus key.
Okay.
You should do the trick.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right. Okay, can you see my commands now?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Okay, so firstly, I opened a new folder basically, and I created a copy of that particular file. Then I cloned the repo here, and I created a branch which is git checkout -b. That particular the new feature I want to implement in. I created a branch for it, and now I automatically switch to the branch. So if I do git status, you can see it's telling me that I'm on this particular branch. Now what I want to do in this branch is I just want to update the README. Okay, so I come here to the README, put it down. Okay, this is hands-on Wednesday. So I can do this session is usually about learning how to collaborate and contribute to open source and closed source repositories. Then the description, I can just do maybe a checklist. Then the checklist, I can have, I did this, let's say I added Django framework. Okay, I also did this, I modified the environments. Okay, I didn't do this. Let's name this made it super awesome. Okay, then for this I remove them, and I just come here and I say Thanks for being a part of this amazing session. Feel free to add your PRs, then in brackets, pull requests, and ask for reviews. Yep. You can just make it like this. Then you can also preview to see how this will look. So this is how it will look on GitHub. So after that, we'll then push this. So come here, let me move this up. Let me clear the screen. Okay, and make this a bit bolder. All right. So I want to add the changes I made to push it to the particular repository, taking in mind that I don't have access to this repository. I'm just a guy that saw this particular awesome open source software being built, and I felt like contributing to it. And this is my whole contribution I've made for the past 20 years, and I'm contributing it now. I'm making a push request about it, a pull request about it. So you do git add automatically what checks in everything into Git. Then do git commit to then add it into the history. Okay, to stash it with, into the history. So I can say this modified the README become more awesome, like a ninja. Remember, whenever I write in your git commit, it always starts with an apostrophe. If you start with a single apostrophe, end with a single apostrophe. Start with double, end with double. So you can see after that, we get this. Just Git telling us that, yeah, I've been able to check this in. You changed one file, you did 11 insertions, and you did 3 deletion, basically. So after that, I can then do git push origin. Remember, I'm still pushing to that my origin. Okay, you can see we've automatically what? Push that origin. Now Git already understand that now we are contributing to an open source repository. You can see it's telling us to create a pull request for this on GitHub by visiting this particular link. Let's copy this particular link. Let's come back here. I hope my screen is still sharing. Okay. So let's copy, we've copied that particular link, but then coming to our repo, we also get a notification. What do you notice? This is my own personal repo, as you can see here. Let me share it so that it will be more clear instead of sharing my whole screen. Okay. Okay. So you can see now coming to my repo, it's telling us, okay, this was what we made the changes 2 seconds ago. Do you want us to compare and make a pull request? So I said, okay, yeah, it's cool. Let's make a pull request. I click on make pull request. Then I need to add a title and a description. So my title, I can just basically come over to, let me open up our Collabo 2.0 and copy out checklists in it and just put it there in our title. Sorry, in our description. So our title can be like this. Okay. Then our description like this. Then instead of making a draft pull request, I can just make a what? Okay, let's make a draft pull request. For example, I'm sure that I might have made some issues. I'm sure I might have did some things I'm not meant to do. I'm not too sure. I make a draft pull request at first. Then after making a draft pull request at first now, you can see GitHub is automatically telling me that this person has access to this repository. This person is a maintainer to this repository. Should I request access to this person to review my code? Okay, so after making this, I can just click here, request. I automatically request access from this code maintainer, that's repository maintainer. This person will get notified by GitHub that I made this particular pull request. They should come up and check it out. Okay, So now you can see Git has already told us that, okay, nothing, no conflict at all. This can be merged. Then after that, I can just click on ready to review. After the particular code maintainer has gone through my code and I feel like, oh yeah, this guy is good to go. Let's merge your code. I switch it to ready to review. Person goes through it. After going through it, you can see spending one person review. After I reviewed it, he can also merge the code and I can also merge the code. Okay. But then once you click on merge, it automatically will get merged into the main of this one. Okay. Remember, when you create a fork of it, it is in your own repository. But then after making the pull request, it is automatically what added after merge into the main of that particular open source repository. Okay, so this is basically how you add up your open source experiences. I would encourage everyone here that waited up to this moment, to go to this repo, create a fork of it. You can say I think 3 people have already created a copy of it in their own. Create a copy of it, contribute a change. It can be anything. Ask the reviewers or me or anybody else to, you can even tag anybody on GitHub that doesn't know about this to review your code for you. And then your code will eventually get merged. Apart from this, I also want you to go to GitHub. When you go to GitHub, you might actually be learning how to program, or you might already be an expert in your code. Okay, you might be an expert in React, you might be an expert in JavaScript, Python, whatever language, or you might not even know how to code. Okay, using GitHub is not for only programmers. Okay, don't always think it's just for programmers. So you might not know how to code, you might just know how to write. Okay, so go on GitHub, go to repositories you've heard of, or just search randomly. You see repositories that open, find ways you can contribute. It can be in their documentation, as I just modified here. It can be making it more explanatory, so that people that actually see it can be like, oh, so this is what this report does. Okay, it can be proposing new changes. So you can come here now and also propose new changes without even writing code. You can do that. Okay, once you come to a repository, you see the issue. This issue is where you propose new changes. It's part of collaborating. Remember, today is about collaborating and what? Contributing to open source, not just open source, just collaborating and what? Pull requests, basically. So you can create, you feel like, okay, these features we added, come here, add it as an issue. The maintainers of the repository will get notified. They'll be like, okay, I like what you think. Okay, what do you think? Most times they'll tell you, no, we don't really like this, or we don't have the capacity to do this. Would you like to even do it? You get? So it is how you actually add up your experiences. And there's nothing as strong as open source experience. I can proudly say there's nothing as strong as open source experience. And open source, you might be looking at it as you are just building, nobody's saying it, but people are saying it. It's going into your own track. You get? And also, you can also make money from contributing to open source. Okay, it's there basically. I've also done it before, still doing it at the moment. So you can make money by contributing to open source repository. You can also use it to grow your experiences. You can also, in the process, you learn a lot. You work with people, because whenever you make a commit, whenever you make a PR, a pull request, they'll be interested to know what did you really build. So you work with people not just in your continent, you work with for different continents, because all these repositories are not just maintained by one person from one country, okay? And not just one person from one continent. Different people around the world maintain repositories. So open source is a very strong experience, okay? So I think with that, we've come to a wrap up of our session. And before we round up, I promised 2 people a special, not only that special, but something small for engaging. But before that, do you have any question, any confusion, or is there something you really want to ask or say? You can also contribute, okay? We're also welcoming to contributors. So is there anything you want to say, contribute, or ask basically? You feel maybe this thing would actually help me or help another person, or this thing will confuse you or confuse the other person, ask. We actually get more clarification from getting confused. All right, so time for question. Anyone? Okay, we have our first question from Dauda, Mr. Dauda Ibrahim. You can go ahead. Okay, you can go ahead. Yeah, mute.
Oh yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to. My own actually is not a question. I just wanted to um make a request. If you can drop the um all the commands you type on the terminal for us.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
so
you.
that's. I would send it to the WhatsApp group. I will get it sent to the WhatsApp group by the moderators.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I love that question. I'll be the request. I love it. So, any other person?
Okay, if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat or raise your hand. Raise your hand. We want to hear your voice. Any contribution, anything you'd like to say, you know. If you gain something, please react. Let's see the people who are still paying attention in this workshop.
So, Ibrahim, I've sent the thing to also the chats, so you can also get it from there. So, any question from anyone? Any question from
Okay.
anyone? Okay. Any other question?
Okay. On that note, if there are no questions, then we assume everybody has understood. So one of these days, we'll just do like a speed quiz. If I say any question you guys are not asking, we'll just do a speed quiz. Like, okay, well, what did this person say? We'll be asking. But for now, today is messy. So
Okay,
thank you so
Peter.
much.
Oh,
If someone
sorry.
asks,
Yeah,
okay,
someone asked for their pull request to be merged. Don't worry, to be reviewed and then it will be merged by the maintainers. Okay. So before I zoom off, there are two people that actually answered. I mean, they answered question in the beginning on what is Git. That's Hofa, and I think is it Hofa or Kofa? Yeah.
Yes, Cooper and Francis.
Okay, Hofa and Francis. Okay, send your cello compatible.
Hold on, I'm joking. Mr. Peter, I'm representative for something. So,
Okay. All right. That's Hofa. Then I think you get the two reward then. Send your cello compatible crypto wallet address. You get the question?
Should I send it here or on WhatsApp?
Do you have it here?
Not really.
All right. You can send it to WhatsApp through Francis. Then you send it to me. I have just a small token to appreciate your contribution and keep it up. Okay.
No problem, sir. Thank you. I do appreciate.
You're welcome. So, any other question? All right. I guess no more question. I will leave it over to Francis and Victoria. Thank you guys for having me.
yeah, thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for this lovely session. I love how you broke everything down. Like you guys are saying that this has been lovely so far. The way our instructors have been breaking down, Peter really broke a lot of things down. Like I joined in labor. From what I even joined, like you guys are saying. So even with this session alone, if you're not inspired to contribute, you see how seamless it is, right? You just have to be curious, and basically open source contributions is about being curious and daring to contribute to your curiosity, honestly, right? And with this today's own, I'm sure you've seen how to collaborate, how you can, submit PRs. It's been very, very lovely. Thank you so much, Peter. You've seen that when we are talking, saying open source is all about, it's like networking and building at the same time. Peter has reinforced that even through today. So yes, make sure you get into open source. That's what this whole campaign is about. We want everybody to be aware of open source and to try to contribute. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you so much for contributing your expertise to this community, to the people. We hope that if you have here and you have not registered, you register, share to people. We still have 2 more days left, and obviously it's not going to be less. We are, you guys are seeing how we are dropping it down for you guys, fire on fire. So share to people that you know that would really love this. And thank you so much, Peter. Thank you. We can't thank you enough. Yeah, you guys should react. And yeah, I don't think Peter is in our general group chat, so that people can even drop their thank you messages there. But thank you so much, and we hope you guys have a lovely evening. Yes, if you want to contribute, I think the repo is public. I don't know if you guys have the link to the repo. I'll drop it, or Motunrayo, please drop it on the, she's here. Okay, yeah, she's here. Please drop it on the main group chat so that if you want to make any contributions, you can practice. It's a practice repository for anyone to make contributions, and then we may, just so you see how it is, because that's basically how it is in normal open source projects. It's not anything different, right? So yeah, thank you so much, guys. And I don't know, Francis, do you have anything to say?
No, not really, Victoria. Just to reinforce what they said about the whole open source movement. Practice, okay, we have the rep out there. Practice. We'll take our time later to just maybe correct you on maybe your commit messages and stuff like that. There's a playground, okay, go and practice. Hofa, do not forget to send your cello address. And general announcement for everyone, our day 1 and day 3 is live on YouTube. So go and check it out just in case you missed anything or you're trying to refresh your memory. Okay. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's all for now.
Yeah, I think from day 1 to day 3 should be there. I'm not sure. I feel day 2 should also be there too. So yes, go, and everything here is free, accessible. That's the whole point. So it's up to you guys now. Thank you so much, everybody, and I think we can say good night. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.